Accidents happen on construction sites. When this crane came into contact with an overhead power line during routine freeway construction in Salt Lake City, Utah, 46,000 volts surged through the crane mast and its cab. It exploded in flames. The inferno was so intense, it burned through the concrete pavement. Miraculously, the crane's operator was able to escape, suffering just minor injuries. Daily, individuals who operate heavy equipment, work for utility companies, fire departments, railroads, or any number of other occupations, risk their safety working near high-voltage power lines. OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, investigated hundreds of power line accidents between 1984 and 1997. Because of these potentially deadly accidents, OSHA recognizes the use of proximity warning devices. With the proper use and installation of a life-saving tool known as Sigalarm, accidents can be dramatically reduced. Sigalarm is an audible and visual high-voltage power line proximity warning device. Once the heavy equipment is activated at a job site, Sigalarm is automatically set to maximum sensitivity, immediately detecting the electrostatic field of nearby power lines. The Sigalarm system then automatically alerts the vehicle's operator and ground crew that they're in the vicinity of a high-voltage power line. Although proximity warning devices such as the Sigalarm can save lives, they are no substitute for de-energizing and grounding lines or maintaining safe clearances as required by OSHA regulations. Overhead high-voltage power lines are a hazard for anyone who operates a vehicle with a boom or extension, whether it's a crane, a television news live truck, or a fire rescue vehicle. During a routine drill, Cocoa Beach, Florida Fire Department Chief Arthur Rompery had a close call with a high-voltage power line.
We had a ladder truck that came in contact with a power line. There was no noise at all other than the truck started smoking. The jacks where they contacted the ground started smoking, so there was no really warning. The operator that was up on the turntable didn't even see it make contact.
Operator error may often be the determiner of life and death. Individuals coming into contact with overhead high-voltage power lines represent just 5% of all documented electrical accidents. Tragically, that 5% accounts for nearly 45% of all fatalities from electrical accidents.
We were lucky that somebody didn't make contact with it because it was several thousand volts and it could have killed them instantly.
During his career as safety director at Fred Weber Incorporated, Jim Andrews recalls a colleague wasn't as fortunate. In 1990, one of Weber's employees accidentally came into contact with an overhead power line and was electrocuted.
I have a very strong concern for these kinds of accidents, and I have always had it. And despite that emphasis that I am so vitally concerned with, an employee who was relying on me as the safety director was fatally injured.
Andrews says immediately after that fatal accident, he learned about the Sigalarm system.
And yet I had not had knowledge of that as a capability until the point in time when OSHA brought it to our attention, and I greatly appreciated the fact that they did.
Missouri-based Weber has one of the country's largest heavy equipment fleets. Its lattice boom and hydraulic extendable boom cranes, boom trucks, and concrete pumps are all outfitted with Sigalarms. The installation process took only a matter of hours.
When you look at the investment that one would put into a Sigalarm device, just to cover that kind of occasional lapse of attention in such a tremendously vital area is indeed a good investment. And that's strictly a monetary situation, and that's aside from the more important element, which is the friend that you worked with for such a long time who's no longer with you. you can't even begin to put a price tag on that.
Statistics show the devastation caused by electrical contacts, both in loss of life, catastrophic personal injury, and extensive monetary losses. The Cocoa Fire Department has equipped its ladder trucks with the Sigalarm system since 1995.
Firefighter safety is always number one. With the Sigalarm, I think it gives me the peace of mind that there is a warning device on there for them. We're working in conditions at times that are smoky. You know, if you have a building fire, the apparatus could be set up in partial smoke, darkness, obscured. You don't know where the power lines are at times. A lot goes on the fire scene. So that extra safety warning, I think, is well worth the money. I'd recommend any fire chief that has an elevated platform, ladder truck, a stick of any sort, that they have a Sigalarm installed on it for the safety of their personnel.
Frank Wood has extensive knowledge of the Sigalarm system.
Down in Dade County, Florida, they were using cranes to pick up garbage underneath the power lines. They had several contacts and had injured people.